Since being recently accused alongside Sean Diddy Combs, Jay-Z is trying to distance himself from the rapper by claiming they were never friends. Alright, so Jay-Z's lawyer is making the claim that Jay-Z has had nothing to do with Diddy's case. Technically, he isn't denying that the rappers knew each other. What he's saying is that they weren't like the bestest friends in the world, but more just like work colleagues. The exact words to describe the relationship were, they knew each other professionally for a number of years. Just like in all professions, people know each other. At the music awards, they support each other. If you go to the NBA All-Star game, they support each other. That's just how professions work. There is no closer association between any of them. That's also a matter of fiction. People expected Jay-Z to deny any involvement with the case. It's a serious accusation that would ruin his life if he is found guilty. However, the fact that Jay-Z's lawyer is saying that the men were not friends has people baffled. I mean, no one really knows what goes on in celebrity lives behind closed doors, but the men haven't exactly been impartial when they interact with and talk about each other. The pair have known each other over 2 decades, going on 3. They met in the 90s when they were featured on each other's tracks, but I guess music artists do that all the time without being or staying friends. So I guess moving on from that, to get us all on the same page about the severity of this situation and what exactly Jay-Z is being accused of, let's take it back to the year 2000, the same year where Jay-Z was spotted at Diddy's 4th of July party. It's the night of the MTV VMAs, so it's early September. The lawsuit accusing Jay-Z and Diddy is centered around this night. It alleged that Diddy and an unnamed additional male celebrity harmed the plaintiff, who has been going by Jane Doe, inappropriately, while another, also unnamed female celebrity, watched. The plaintiff's recount of the night was, she attempted to sneak into Radio City Music Hall for the VMAs when she was younger. After a failed attempt, she ran into Diddy's driver. The driver told her to come back after the show. When she did, he drove her to a large white house with a gated U-shaped driveway. The plaintiff claims that when she entered the home, she was presented with a non-disclosure agreement and asked to sign. Once inside, she recounts that there was widespread use of substances, and when handed a beverage, they were also in there. In a bid to find somewhere safe to rest, the plaintiff claims she entered an empty bedroom, and it wasn't long after she entered that the trio of celebrities allegedly followed. It was then that the multiple transgressions happened, ultimately halting when the plaintiff struck Diddy in the neck. She was able to eventually escape the house and return home, but the night left its mark. The lawsuit claims that the plaintiff fell into a deep depression, which continues to affect every facet of her life. Diddy was the first of the trio to be named. The plaintiff's representation apparently contacted the unnamed male celebrity to try and come to an agreement behind closed doors, but when that was clearly not possible, they attached their name to the lawsuit officially, and the unnamed male celebrity was revealed to be Jay-Z. Both Jay-Z and Diddy continue to assert their innocence, and Jay-Z was allegedly seen at that party referenced in the suit, but again, it's unclear if he was actually the one in the room. As the new century began, Jay-Z and Diddy were spotted out many times together, but Jay-Z's lawyer once again did say that people in the same profession will of course support each other, even if they are not the closest friends in the world, especially if they're working towards the same thing, which Diddy and Jay-Z were. Rap music wasn't always the cool and respected genre of music that it is today. Every individual win was a win for everyone in the community and something to be celebrated. This wasn't the only time the pair worked together for a greater goal. In 2005, they made a joint donation of $1 million to support those affected by the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina. They also performed at the hip-hop festival Scream Fest in 2007, which also happens to be the event where Diddy allegedly smacked Jay-Z on the behind. For anyone wildly confused about that seemingly random statement, there was video footage circulating from this festival that looks like Diddy is smacking Jay-Z's backside. Because the video was taken in 2007, it's pretty pixely, but you can make out one person coming into contact with another. 50 Cent actually reposted this video to his social medias recently, featuring a caption with the words, "I ain't never been with it." The post has been deleted, but screenshots of it exist. 50 Cent has been trolling Diddy and Jay-Z online for months. There was the video featuring the festival Behind Smack from November 2023, but then back in May of 2024, shortly after the first accusations against Diddy came out, 50 Cent posted an unflattering image of Jay-Z to his Instagram, claiming that Jay-Z was going to hibernate until everything with Diddy blew over. It referenced the fact that Jay-Z had kind of distanced himself from Diddy and was staying silent on everything, despite the pair being seen together so many times over the decades. A famous quote about their friendship actually came from a conversation about a photo taken of the pair at Diddy's birthday in 2009. A photo of Diddy and Jay-Z chatting made it into the Rock and Roll of Hip Hop exhibition. Jay-Z flew out for the party and then had to fly back immediately after because he was on tour, which is something you do for work acquaintances that you are not close friends with. You also tell people how much you value their friendship and appreciate big gestures like that, because that's what Diddy said he was talking to Jay-Z about in that very picture. But a few years after that, in 2013, Jay-Z and Beyonce attended a party thrown by Combs. Also at this party is rapper J. Cole. J. Cole was allegedly saying inappropriate things to Diddy and then girlfriend Cassie. It got heated, a fight broke out, and Jay-Z and Beyonce had to kind of attempt to break it up, I guess. Eventually, everyone did cool off and the party continued, but right at the start of the next year, so New Year's 2014, Jay-Z and Beyonce are spotted at Diddy's New Year's Eve party. They are reported to have had a great evening, dancing the night away. Jay-Z is allegedly at Diddy's B-Day party again the next year, but Diddy's parties, before everyone found out that he was not a great person, were coveted invitations, and so a lot of celebrities were seen at them, which could mean nothing. This party was special though, because a 30-inch apple pie was served. The size of the pie is like really not important, but it's certainly ridiculous, and I just thought you should know. In 2016, Jay-Z made a surprise appearance at Diddy's Bad Boy Family Reunion tour, but celebrities pop up at tours all the time, even if they're not that close. Is Diddy's tour different? You decide. The cherry on top of this, Jay-Z and Diddy were totally just work friends cake, is Diddy's intro for Jay-Z at this tour appearance. Bad Boys celebrating 20 years of hits, but this is extended family. Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. This is my strategist right here, this is my brother, which could mean nothing. Later that year, the two men were also pictured partying after the MTV Video Music Awards. But their work relationship extended far beyond parties, or that's how it seemed in 2017 when Diddy gave Jay-Z parenting advice. A weird celebrity web connection though. Liam Payne met Diddy this year and described his laugh as the most evil laugh he'd ever heard, which is just like a funny thing to say about somebody, especially considering nothing had come out about Diddy yet, so this was completely unprompted. Liam also had another quote that aged like milk, so I'm a little bit fearful of that man. It was like the most daunting celebrity experience that you could ever imagine. I thought P. Diddy was a safe bet. Obviously, I missed the mark a little bit. Obviously, Liam Payne meant nothing by his comment other than it was intimidating meeting a big name like Diddy, but in the year 2025, it did not age well. In 2018, Jay-Z attended Diddy's Halloween party. Diddy dressed up as It the Clown. The foreshadowing is wild. It's revealed that the rappers are working together on an app together that year, but right before the major 2020 event hit, in January, the Roc Nation Black Billionaire Brunch happened. At the time, both rappers were billionaires, so they were both there. Diddy's speech at the time featured many comments about his bond with Jay-Z. He said, "We here together and we gonna keep staying together and tighter." Then, you know, we had the pandemic. No one really saw much of anyone until 2022. Diddy received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the BET Awards that year, and of course, work colleague Jay-Z had to give a speech. He praised Diddy's journey and commended him for making it through all the difficulties life stacked against him. And then, finally, 1 year before everything really went down, 2023, Diddy reveals the names of two people he lets call him by his real name, Sean, his mother, and Jay-Z. He says it's because he also calls Jay-Z by his real name, which is also Sean, so it's not at all because they are friends. 2024 clearly brought a different set of challenges to the men's work relationship, and we will have to wait and see how the accusations against Jay-Z and Diddy pan out.
Now, Beyonce acted completely oblivious when it was reported that her sister Solange attacked her husband Jay-Z in an elevator at the Met Gala in 2014. But then the footage was leaked and it showed that Beyonce was there when it happened, and she just stood there and watched the whole thing go down. Now, after this was leaked, the family put out a statement saying, "There has been a great deal of speculation about what triggered the unfortunate incident, but the most important thing is that our family has worked through it. They both acknowledge their role in this private matter that has played out in the public. They both have apologized to each other, and we have moved forward as a united family." But it was then reported that Solange attacked Jay-Z because of cheating rumors. Now, these were just rumors until Beyonce released her album Lemonade in 2016. With the release of her 2016 album Lemonade, Beyonce revealed a lot of personal details about her relationship with Jay-Z, which led many people to believe the album was a direct response to rumors of infidelity in her marriage. However, after the album's release, she did an interview with Elle magazine where she was asked if the album was truly based on her marriage. Beyonce said, "This is not a story about my marriage, it's just an exploration of the journey tyranny of women everywhere. Now, fans were confused by this response though, due to the very public references to her husband's alleged cheating, as well as the infidelity-themed song Sorry. Now, in the end, Jay-Z did admit to cheating on Beyoncé and clarified it on his album 444. He later did an interview where he confirmed it, as he told the New York Times magazine, "You know, most people walk away and like divorce rate is like 50% or something, because most people can't see themselves. The hardest thing is seeing pain on someone's face that you caused and then having to deal with it yourself. So you know, most people don't want to do that. You don't want to look inside yourself, and so you walk away." Now, the couple eventually worked through everything though and are still together today. It's also been said that Beyoncé has lied about her age. Yep, her own father actually said this. In 2015, Beyoncé's dad, Matthew Knowles, hinted in an interview that his eldest daughter had been lying about her age. Reminiscing about when she was starting out in music, he remarked, "Pink, she's the exact same age as Beyoncé. Usher, he was the same age. They were all 14 or 15 years old." Now, Pink was 36 and Usher was 37 at the time of the interview. But Beyoncé, well, she was only 34. Now, could he have made a mistake with his daughter's age? Maybe, but she could have also switched her age. A lot of performers in Hollywood actually changed their ages to appear younger, so this definitely could have been the case with Beyoncé, but hey, only a 2-year difference isn't that bad. Then there's the time Beyoncé had her mom lie for her, which is just not a good look at all. Now, Beyoncé left the 2016 BET Awards early and fans were not happy. Now, she surprised viewers by opening the award show with Kendrick Lamar and performing Freedom. After the performance, she immediately departed for the airport and asked her mother to stay and accept any awards on her behalf, since she was nominated in 5 categories. When Formation won for Video of the Year, her mother Tina went up on stage and accepted the award for her. "On behalf of my beautiful daughter, who is on a plane, she had to run straight from the stage to get on a plane and fly to London for a concert. Hopefully she'll make it in time," she said. But that's just how important this awards show was for her to show up. But the dedicated fans immediately noticed that London wasn't Beyoncé's next tour stop. Now, the following concert was actually in Northeast England in Sunderland, and it wasn't until 2 nights later. Then last year, musical artist Jaguar Wright has spoken out calling both Diddy and Jay-Z monsters. She did an interview with Piers Morgan and made her feelings clear about the 2 stars, and she then mentioned Beyoncé, saying she was supposedly involved in unfair incidents that transpired over time. Wright went on to say that she's spoken with hundreds of victims to whom she continues to assist. She said she has 3 victims who are willing to testify about what Jay-Z did to them, as well as what he did to his wife Beyoncé. She then went on to describe them as a nasty little couple and said they do nasty things, keeping people against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane unconscious. There's a lot that people don't want to talk about, she said. At the VMAs in 2011, Beyoncé was a performer. She addressed the crowd before her performance of Love on Top, saying, "Tonight, I want you to stand up on your feet. I want you to feel the love that's growing inside of me." Now, at the end of the song, she dropped the mic, unbuttoned her purple sequin blazer, and started rubbing her belly. She was pregnant. Now, Beyoncé later told Harper's Bazaar that the reveal was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. She said, "I put a lot of thought into how I wanted to unveil it. It was important to me that I was able to do it myself. I was extremely nervous. It was the toughest red carpet I ever did. I decided to say nothing and proudly show my baby bump. I felt it was more powerful to see the love and enthusiasm as opposed to saying anything." Now, after this though, the gender of her baby was accidentally released by one of her friends, Kelly Rowland. Speaking to Bang Showbiz in 2011, Kelly predicted Jay-Z was going to buy that little girl every single thing possible, inadvertently revealing to the world that the couple had a daughter on the way. Now, speaking about it later, Kelly said that Beyoncé was disappointed about the ordeal. "I felt terrible because it was not my news," Kelly said. And while Beyoncé announced her pregnancy on live TV, some people think that she actually faked her pregnancy and that she had a surrogate. Now, Now, Wendy Williams was one of the loudest voices when it came to this, as she discussed it on her show. Wendy claimed that Beyoncé might have faked her pregnancy in 2011, as she drew attention to a particular moment from an Australian appearance. Wendy made an eyebrow-raising observation. Beyoncé's baby bump seemed to squash and crumple when she sat down. I couldn't wait to talk to you about Beyoncé's baby bump conspiracy rumor, Wendy began the segment with. Now, speaking of her own pregnancy, Wendy added, "I never remember my baby bump squashing." She then went on to discuss the video frame by frame, exclaiming, "Look at the shape. Do you see that? Is that a baby bump?" Now, Wendy was really convinced that her pregnancy was fake, but later on, in response to the allegations, Beyoncé's publicist told MTV that the claims were stupid, ridiculous, and false. But what is the truth? I mean, I guess only Beyoncé knows. Now, everyone thinks that Beyoncé is this musical genius, but in reality, she has stolen a lot of things from different artists throughout her career. In a 2008 interview with Marie Claire UK, Beyoncé implied that some of the lyrics to her 2006 single Irreplaceable weren't actually aimed at Jay-Z. But singer-songwriter Ne-Yo told MTV, apparently Beyoncé was at a show somewhere, and right before the song came on, she said, "I wrote this for all my ladies," and then the song came on. This song is a co-write. I wrote the lyrics, I wrote all of the lyrics, Beyoncé helped me with the melodies and the harmonies and the vocal arrangement, and that makes it a co-write, meaning my contribution and her contribution made the song what it is. Now, in 2011, Ne-Yo said that he wrote the song for himself, but thought it'd be better suited for Beyoncé, but then he just hated the fact that she lied about it. And then there's the fact that Beyoncé stole another song. Now, she sampled Kelsey's song Milkshake and didn't give her credit. My mind is blown too, because the level of disrespect and utter ignorance of all three parties involved is astounding, she claimed via Instagram in July 2022. The next day she clarified, "It's not about me being jealous of someone using my song. That's the dumbest, most ignorant thing I've ever heard. It has to do with the fact, from one artist to another, you should have the decency and common sense and the courtesy to call." Though neither Beyoncé nor her team publicly commented on Kelsey's posts, the sample appeared to be removed from the Spotify version of Energy in early August 2022, although it can still be heard on Apple Music. Now, not even addressing this or apologizing is just icky.
Thank you, Beyoncé. And no, I'm not thanking her, but many celebrities have, and there's a bizarre theory around why. It's alleged that one of the closest people in her inner circle started this theory, and while we are still uncertain if there's any truth to it, it certainly is worth digging into. What started out as a conspiracy theory is now a trend that has everyone on social media thanking Beyoncé. This all began when social media users noticed an unusual trend in celebrity artists thanking Beyoncé in their acceptance speeches after being nominated for major awards. Although the artists did not collaborate with Beyoncé or work with her in any way to create the awarded projects, the many artists still use their acceptance speeches as a moment to express their admiration and high regard for the singer. This has occurred particularly at the Grammy Awards. So in 2017, English singer-songwriter Adele thanked Beyoncé when accepting the award for Album of the Year. Adele did not feel deserving of the award, as she acknowledged that Beyoncé's album, titled Lemonade, was also nominated in the same category. Adele said during her acceptance speech, "I can't possibly accept this award, and I'm very humbled, and I'm very grateful and gracious, but the artist of my life is Beyoncé." This occurred again in 2023 when American rapper and singer Lizzo thanked Beyoncé after winning Record of the Year. At the time, Beyoncé's song titled Break My Soul was also nominated in the same category. During her speech, Lizzo reflected on her first Destiny's Child concert and how she was enamored by Beyoncé's vocals. Lizzo expressed, "I was I want to make people feel this way with my music, so thank you so much." Beyoncé has also been acknowledged on various award stages by celebrities like Megan Thee Stallion, Lady Gaga, and Britney Spears. These harmless acceptance speeches are now being interpreted as a negative narrative towards Beyoncé, questioning her character and, her prominent role in the music industry. It is challenging challenging to identify exactly why the public has sought this reaction, though conspiracy theorists believe celebrities praise Beyoncé in their acceptance speeches because they understand her immense influence over the music industry and wish to remain successful in the public eye. One source said this conspiracy theory started with the passing of Aaliyah, who is the queen of urban pop who redefined contemporary R&B in the 1990s. Some people argue that her passing gave Beyoncé the space to become the icon that she is today. In J. Cole's 2013 song She Knows, he mentions Aaliyah's passing. Now, some of the more deranged and unhinged TikTok users connect that song with Beyoncé's friendship with P. Diddy, who has been at the center of conspiracy theories connected to Aaliyah's passing for years. The theory goes like this: thank Beyoncé or face the consequences. Celebrities do tend to thank Beyoncé a lot. Now, Kanye, rushed the stage when Taylor Swift beat Beyoncé for Album of the Year. The list honestly goes on and on and on. The celebrity thanking has reached TikTok, of course, where users are thanking Beyoncé at Thanksgiving, or for their dog not having cancer, or literally for nothing. So the question is, have you thanked Beyoncé today? Is Beyoncé to blame for Liam Payne's passing? One source close to the singer has spread this crazy theory. Following the unexpected passing of Liam Payne, a new theory has emerged, implicating none other than Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and P. Diddy. Now imagine the worldwide shock if any of this turned out to be true. Fans in the music industry are still shocked by the news of Liam Payne's passing. Although details, still remain kind of unclear, the coroner has already ruled out foul play for the former One Direction singer. But in the wake of his passing, fans began theorizing what might have happened, and one theory suggests that Beyoncé was seen staying in the same hotel where Payne tragically fell from a third-floor balcony. On its own, this fact might seem insignificant, but social media detectives have supposedly found countless other connections between Payne's passing and Beyoncé. In a past video, Payne is reported to have warned others to ignore Beyoncé, even implying that she was dangerous. Payne also openly expressed a less than friendly view of P. Diddy, describing his smile and laughter as devilish and his presence as very unpleasant. Now, supporters of these theories believe that Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy are just so powerful in the music world, that nearly every award show features celebrities, again, like I just spoke about, thanking Beyoncé for their success, fearful of the supposed consequences of doing otherwise. Now, the suggestion is that, the lack of respect for the trio could mean career-ending repercussions. Now, while these theories might seem, outrageous, the internet is filled with those who find meaning in them. Conspiracy theories fulfill a certain, psychological need, even though the most far-fetched ideas lack evidence. Social media algorithms, boost emotionally charged stories, making it easier than ever to just spread these theories. The theory, though, may not add up because, first and foremost, neither Beyoncé nor Liam Payne has publicly, in the past or now for Beyoncé, even indicated any connection that would lend credibility to these claims. Okay, Beyoncé's career has focused on, of course, creating music, empowering messages, maintaining a positive image, and of course, her social justice work. Meanwhile, Payne, as a former member of One Direction, has navigated his own path, post, boy band, encountering personal challenges, like any other high-profile celebrity might. The idea that there would be any, antagonism or hidden influence between them is unfounded, so take this all in, of course, with a grain of salt and come up with your own conclusion. Either way, rest in peace, Liam. Few theories to share with former Hills stars Spencer and Heidi Pratt about Beyoncé and Jay-Z on an episode of the couple's Make Spidey Famous Again podcast. Now, Rose said she suspects Gwyneth Paltrow is Jay-Z's alleged mistress, who Beyoncé dubbed Becky with the good hair on Lemonade. On the infamous Lemonade track, Sorry, Beyoncé sings, "He only want me when I'm not there, he better call Becky with the good hair." The lyrics have been a mega mystery ever since, as fans have wondered, who could dare step between Jay and Bey. Now, a lot of speculation surrounded fashion designer Rachel Roy, who even captioned a now deleted Instagram post, "Good hair don't care," after Lemonade was released. But Rose has a different theory. She speculated on the podcast, saying that she definitely thinks that Gwyneth Paltrow is Becky with the good hair, and she feels like, she's the one who was sleeping with Jay-Z. Rose, who doesn't actually have investigative proof on the situation, explained her theory, saying the once public friendship between Paltrow and Beyonce seems to have hit a lull. Like, since Sorry came out and was released shortly after the Goop CEO and Coldplay singer Chris Martin announced their divorce. Now, Rose thinks the timing all makes sense. Amber continued to say they were like friends, and then, like, you don't see Gwyneth Paltrow and Beyonce anymore, but like Beyonce's still with Jay. Though she admitted that she doesn't actually know if Paltrow and Jay-Z ever had an affair, Rose noted, "I'm surprised no one has thought of this." Rose is correct when she says that the pair of, A-listers did appear to, boast a close relationship in the past, and that they haven't hit red carpet worthy events together for some time. As Paltrow shared with Ellen DeGeneres on the Comedian's Talk Show in 2010, she and Beyonce actually met at a charity event sometime in the 2000s. She actually said to Ellen, "We just kind of hooked up, hit it off, and became really close friends." Paltrow has apparently been good friends with Beyonce and Jay-Z for years, calling the twosome like the greatest people ever during a 2015 radio interview on the Howard Stern Show. She added at that time, "They are funny and sweet and self-aware and really intelligent." As for the cheating allegations, Paltrow's rep said it is completely absurd and 100% false. Beyonce and Jay-Z reportedly separated for a year in 2005, as revealed in the 2015 biography Becoming Beyonce by J. Randy Taraborelli. He suggested that the split coincided with Jay's scouting of Rihanna, sparking rumors of a supposed affair. Now, speaking to Entertainment Tonight at the time, Taraborelli said Beyonce didn't know what to make of this, and it actually ended up breaking them up for a time. They spent maybe like a year apart from each other because Beyonce just wasn't sure what to make of the situation with Rihanna. Now, in a candid chat with BBC's Newsbeat, Taraborelli defended his bombshell claims despite not speaking directly with Beyonce for his book. He said, "Well, my job as a biographer is to take a look at, all of the persistent rumors and see if it is possible to unpack them. We found the publicist who was working for one of Rihanna's producers. His job was to promote Rihanna's first single, Pon de Replay. He went on to expose a manufactured scandal, saying in that capacity he began to float the untrue story that Rihanna and Jay were having an affair. This was not true. We interviewed him and he confessed that he planted the story in an effort to promote Rihanna." Now, further shedding light on this web of deception, the former publicist Jonathan Hay confirmed Taraborelli's story, offering apologies to music power couple Jay-Z and Beyonce after spreading, the false information. Despite safeguarding the identity of those who provided insights, Taraborelli notes his sources have nothing to gain by talking to him, and often they had a lot to lose, also claiming that it was people in Beyonce's inner circle that corroborated these claims and provided him more insight. So, the shade of that all, right? Now, the author elaborated on his credibility, saying, "This is my 18th book. I've had like 14 bestsellers, so, me and my research team, we really have sort of like a gut for this work. I can tell when somebody is being honest. Everybody is interviewed and re-interviewed, and then their stories are compared with other stories of people who are in the same situations. So we really do a lot of work to corroborate everything that we hear."
Now, people had been praying for Ellen DeGeneres' downfall for years, and what really kicked it off was when actor Dakota Johnson put Ellen in her place. You see, in 2019, Dakota was on an episode of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, and while being interviewed, Ellen insisted that Dakota didn't invite her to her birthday party, and she threw some major shade. Now, without hesitating, Dakota shut down this false claim by giving us the iconic line of, "Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellen." Dakota went on to explain that the last time she was on Ellen's show, Ellen gave her a hard time about not inviting her last year, so she made sure that she did this year. Dakota then advised Ellen to ask her producer about her invitation, stating, "I did invite you and you didn't come. Ask everybody," before turning to Ellen's producers for backup. Now, the producers actually confirmed that the host had indeed been invited to the bash, but had chosen not to attend. Now, it was just plain awkward and weird, but honestly, it also was iconic. Now, this was just the little thing that people needed to tear down Ellen completely, and more of her bad behavior and being horrible to her employees all came out. Now, it seems like Dakota was ahead of her time with calling the star out. Music duo Milli Vanilli were sensations who were adored by many, but it all came crashing down when they appeared on Club MTV package tour lip-syncing pre-recorded pre-recorded tracks. Now during a Connecticut show, the tape jammed, "Girl You Know It, Girl You Know It, Girl You Know It" blared from the speakers while the duo danced for a moment before fleeing the stage. Now it was revealed that the duo were lip-syncing. Now if this isn't embarrassing enough, this prompted doubts regarding the duo's authenticity, and after their album was released in America, the singer Charles Shaw revealed that it was him on the album, not the group Milli Vanilli. Now the duo eventually admitted to being frauds and subsequently appeared at a press conference to return their Grammy Award for Best New Artist. The duo then resurfaced in 1993 as Rob and Fab with a self-titled album full of their real singing voices, but according to Milli Vanilli's Behind the Music, they only sold 2,000 copies. In a controversial Saturday Night Live performance on Halloween night 1981, punk band Fear performed. Now, they decided to bring a busload of fans with them, which they did not discuss with the producers. Now, when they performed, the band and its fans started to essentially destroy the stage. The broadcast was actually cut off before their last song, after one of the fans they brought screamed, "New York sucks," into the mic. The fans bust in also reportedly threw a pumpkin into the chest of SNL producer Dick Urbansall. Later, a report in the New York Post would go on to claim that the band Fear caused $200,000 worth of damage to the SNL studio that night, allegedly destroying the green room, a mini-cam camera, 2 viewers, and a viewing room. Members of the audience recalled how the performance became a total out-of-control free-for-all as fans jumped up and started slam-bang dancing, which was described as a new punk craze that involves dancing, biting, and kicking. Yeah. The report continued that producer Dick Eversole tried to usher the groupies into the green room, hoping to calm them down, but instead they wrecked it. The article also included quotes from an unnamed NBC technician who said, "I've been in this business for years and I've never seen anything like this. This was a life-threatening situation. They went crazy. It's amazing no one passed away." Yeah, safe to say they were not welcomed back to SNL at all. And in 2004, Ashlee Simpson was on the rise, and she was the musical act on Saturday Night Live that June. But her SNL performance did not go as planned. She performed her hit single Pieces of Me, and it went well, but she then returned to the stage to perform her next song when the vocals for the previous song began playing while her mic was down at her side. Yes, it was revealed that she was lip-syncing. She then did an awkward jig on stage and later blamed the band during the closing credits. She said, "I feel so bad, my band started playing the wrong song. I didn't know what to do, so I thought I'd do a hoedown. I'm sorry, live TV." Now, it was just plain awkward, and her blaming her band was not the right move at all. Now, her career never recovered as she was booed at her Orange Bowl performance in 2005, and her next 2 albums failed. Now, if you're gonna lip sync, please learn to lip sync properly. Oprah had quite a controversy when it came to her book club and the author James Frey. Now back in the day, Oprah had a book club where she would promote a book on her show and usually have the author on for an interview. Now this would result in the book going on the best-selling list, and Oprah added James Frey's book A Million Little Pieces to the reading list, and in October 2005, James then appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show to promote his book, which the talk show host had previously said she couldn't put down, calling it a gut-wrenching memoir that is raw and it's so real. Now, when James was promoting the books on talk shows or other media outlets, it was referred to as a memoir. But large parts of the stories were later found out to be exaggerated or fabricated, sparking a media controversy. Now, this was discovered after an investigation conducted by the Smoking Gun. They determined that James had actually fictionalized some of the story, so he was caught lying. And the fact that Oprah promoted it was not a good look at all. Now, controversy arose more after Oprah initially defended the book, but she later confronted James on her show in January 2006. Now, Oprah began the live program by telling him, "It is difficult for me to talk to you because I feel really duped, but more importantly, I feel that you betrayed millions of readers." James then admitted to Oprah that he had altered and embellished details of his story, including the fact that he had been in jail for just several hours, not 87 days, as stated in the book. Now, Oprah then also confronted the public although sure of a million little pieces, saying her staff had been contacted about possible inaccuracies in the book, only to be told that the publishing company stood by James's story as a work of non-fiction. Now everyone was upset with James, and it left a lot of Oprah's viewers angry as they bought the book to support him. Now it seems like Oprah is always at the scene of the crime, as during a 2002 appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, Brandy, who was 6 months pregnant at the time, claimed that she'd recently gotten married. But then when she visited Oprah again in 2014, she admitted that she was never actually legally married to her child's father, but she lied because she was worried about being judged and felt like having a child out of wedlock would ruin her career. She said at the time being pregnant out of wedlock was not a trend, it was not something that people praised, it was a sin, and I felt I could not be honest about that. I felt the pressure of having to be perfect. I thought that everything I had worked hard for was threatened, she said. And finally, Jussie Smollett was an up-and-coming actor, but he ruined it all for himself when he pretended to be a victim of a crime. In early 2019, Chicago police said they were investigating a hate crime against Jussie. Now, it was a huge story and he was getting so much support and sympathy, and then he actually did an interview on Good Morning America about him being attacked, and he suggested the alleged attackers were white, saying, "If I had said the attacker was a Muslim or Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot much more." Then, speaking through tears, he said that gay people should learn to fight these kinds of attacks, and while many people felt bad for him, it turned out that this was more of a performance for him, as police discovered that the incident was staged and Jussie paid 2 attackers to commit the crime. Now, he was then indicted on 6 counts of lying to the Chicago police as well as disorderly conduct. He made up the story because he was unhappy with his salary and thought that a bit of publicity would help. Now, clearly that didn't work out because he was then fired, but this is just a crazy story that ruined him, and it was honestly all his fault. Now, J-Lo is a performer, not really a singer. I mean, J-Lo claims she performs and sings live, but that isn't always the case. In November of 2021, she was slammed by music fans for allegedly lip-syncing during her American Music Awards performance as she took the stage to carry out her brand new song, On My Way, Marry Me. An angry viewer ranted, "Come on with the overproduced singing, this commercial sounds exactly like her live vocals just did." A commenter pointed out, "Now why are you lip syncing? You have a great voice, just sing the song." Now, this isn't the first time this has happened though, as in 2014 she was caught lip syncing her performance of I Love Ya Poppy on American Idol. And again, fans were not happy about this. But should we really even be shocked? I mean, J-Lo doesn't even sing her own songs in the studio versions. Now, for example, her song Play is sung by AM to PM singer Christina Milian. Christina wrote the song and she sings Play's entire chorus. Ashanti has also lent her voice to J-Lo, playing it off as her own. In fact, you can hear her singing on Ain't It Fun and I'm Real. Ashanti spoke about this in 2014 and said, "I wrote Ain't It Funny. I demoed the record for her before I was signed and they kept my hook and some of the background and ad-libs and stuff like that. It was bittersweet because I was really excited that it was J-Lo, but I was so mad at not being able to have the record for herself," she said. Shauna Harrell is also alleged to be responsible for some of the vocals in If You Had My Love, and Makeba Riddick apparently is the voice behind All I Have. Now, the chorus from her song Jenny from the Block was rumored to have been sung by Natasha Ramos, who demoed the song. Now, in fact, Natasha addressed the claims in 2019, tweeting, "J-Lo did indeed go in the studio and lay down some background vocals over mine. So I wouldn't say she's so much lip syncing, however the backgrounds are predominantly me and some ad-libs and laughs are as well." When fans found this out, they called out J-Lo for lying and branded the music industry trash and insisting that Jennifer should not be famous for work she never did. But Natasha then stood up for the star. She wrote, "Well, that's a little harsh. J-Lo is one of the hardest working women in business. In my opinion, she certainly deserves all her success. I just deserved more from that project too. That's on the label though, not Jennifer. It's all kind of history at this point, LOL." But JLo has also been accused of straight up stealing songs from other artists. Now, one of the stars who accused her of doing this was Usher in 2015. He claimed that she stole a song that he cast aside while recording his hugely successful album called Confessions. Usher claimed that JLo's single Get Right is actually a re-recorded version of Ride, a song he co-wrote the year before, which was only available online. He said, "I hate it, but I better get some of the publishing rights or else. I didn't put it on my album because I couldn't get it right, but I didn't expect JLo to just take it." Now, besides all of that, it's been revealed that JLo is a cheater. Now, Jennifer and Ben Affleck had an on-again, off-again romance that has been going on since the 2000s, with fans even nicknaming the couple Benifer. Now, they just got divorced this year. It was a huge thing, but the timeline of their relationship in general is a huge red flag and included alleged cheating. So in July of 2002, Jennifer filed for divorce from her second husband, Chris Judd, citing irreconcilable differences. But this news broke just months after JLo wrapped the movie Gilgy alongside her then boyfriend Ben. Now, even though she repeatedly denied cheating rumors, Ben took out an ad in The Hollywood Reporter gushing about JLo before her divorce wasn't yet finalized. In fact, even Chris Judd's father Larry spoke out against the couple and accused JLo of being unfaithful to his son. He insinuated that the affair started during the filming of Gilgy, saying, "I thought Mr. Affleck would honor a married woman and not just go right into the trailer." He added that she'd be happier if she just tell the truth, and no one in her little circle is going to say one negative thing about her. Now, this is quite ironic because just years before, JLo accused Diddy of cheating on her and how heartbroken it left her. Now, I have to bring up JLo's infamous movie line interview in 1998. Now, this very well could have ruined JLo's career, as at the time she was 27 and fresh off the success of her film Selena. Now, she basically decided to trash all other celebrities that were big at the time and tried to trivialize their career and their contributions to the industry. In fact, when asked about Madonna, JLo actually said, "Do I think she's a great performer? Yeah. Do I think she's a great actress? No. Acting is what I do, so I'm harder on people when they say, oh, I can do that, I can act. I'm like, hey, don't spit on my craft." Now, this was so ironic because JLo would go on to do both music and acting for the rest of her career, and critics also trashed her acting on the big screen. Also, at the time, Madonna had been a star for a lot longer than JLo, so there was really no comparison there. And when Gwyneth Paltrow was brought up, Jennifer almost seemed to laugh and made it clear that she didn't take her fellow actress's career seriously. "Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she was in. Some people get hot by association. I heard more about her and Brad Pitt than I ever heard about her work," she said. Now, yikes, this did not go over well, and hey, I can't blame the celebrities she dissed for being upset. Now, this year, Jennifer recently released her documentary on Amazon Prime called This Is Me Now, A Love Story, which gave behind-the-scenes looks into her new album, This Is Me Now, and the accompanying movie, The Greatest Love Story Never Told. Now, some fans who watched it, though, took to social media to call Jen out for her lies. In one scene, Jennifer poses in the mirror of her personal gym as she shakes out her hair and reminisces about her childhood in the Bronx. "I feel like taking my hair out like this. It reminds me like when I was 16 in the Bronx, running up and down the block, crazy little girl who used to be wild and no limits, all dreams," she said. However, a TikTok user, Photos by Angela, slammed the star in a series of videos as she claimed to have gone to the same Catholic high school as Jennifer and accused her of lying about her experience living in the Bronx. She said, "We both attended an all-girls high school in an Irish and Italian neighborhood, so you weren't running up and down the block." In fact, the Bronx is a place that JLo actually avoids. Now, how do we know this? Well, due to a commercial she filmed. The commercial is from 2011, and the caption to it on YouTube says, "This commercial is titled My World and is voiced over by Lopez, who is seen driving a Fiat 500 Cabrio as she travels through the streets of Manhattan to the Bronx where she grew up." The new ad explores her personal take on how life in the New York City borough continues to inspire her to be tougher, to stay sharper, and think faster. But this ad backfired when it was reported that she never actually went to the Bronx to film the ad, and that a body double stand-in was used instead. And I mean, if you watch the ad knowing this information, it's pretty obvious. I mean, why not just ditch J-Lo and use a different celebrity who would actually show up on set? Now, it's just crazy that they let her get away with this. Oprah may say that she has nothing to do with Diddy and doesn't even know him, but she's been to his parties and even had him on her talk show. Now, last year, Page Six received a VHS tape from an anonymous source which showed exclusive footage of celebrities inviting other celebrities to Diddy's 29th birthday party. And in the footage was good old Oprah. It begins with a strange home video style skit in which Danny DeVito, lying on a sofa under a blanket, says, "That's right, Puff Daddy's having a party, and this is Puff Daddy inviting you to come. Let's have a ball." Then, a group of celebrities take turns reading from a script detailing the date and time, with the rest of the important information that you would need to know if you were to attend. Now, to be honest, this footage is just creepy and honestly unsettling. Now, all those people in the video appear to be his really good friends, and fans have noted how interesting it is that Oprah was a part of it. Now, it turns out that this video invitation was actually around 6 minutes long, but Page Six only released a minute and a half of it to the world. Now, this has people questioning what else is on the tape and if it's incriminating to other celebrities. Are they not releasing the whole video to protect them? I mean, the truth will come out eventually, as it always does. Like recently, Oprah has been exposed for lying about her upbringing and how she's treated her stepmother. Now, Oprah claims that she never had any new dresses or dolls and had to adopt 2 cockroaches as pets growing up in rural Mississippi. But her cousin contends she was actually relatively spoiled as a little girl. Where Oprah got that nonsense about growing up in filth and roaches, I have no idea, Catherine Carr Esther said. "I've confronted her and asked, why do you tell such lies? Oprah would tell me, that's what people want to hear. The truth is boring." So it seems like her family knows that this is all a sham, but Oprah doesn't care. Then, Oprah's stepmother, Barbara Winfrey, has come forward about her experience with the star. In 2012, Oprah's father, Vernon Winfrey, divorced his wife over a decade, Barbara Winfrey, citing inappropriate marital conduct as a key reason, as he was unfaithful to her. But Oprah eventually got dragged into the divorce, with Barbara claiming that Oprah had helped orchestrate her separation from Vernon in an attempt to kick her out of their home, the same home that Oprah had gifted them when they got married. Now, after the divorce had been finalized, Oprah reportedly wanted to put the house up for sale, but Barbara refused to budge and insisted on living in the residence. The Laurelbrook property is being sold as a result of the divorce, Nicole Nichols, spokesperson for Oprah, shared in a statement at the time. Vernon Winfrey no longer lives there. Now, it was later reported that Oprah's team had offered Barbara another property, but she refused it as she didn't want to sign a confidentiality agreement. "I'm not going to sign anything," she said. Now, Oprah spokesperson also stated that they offered Barbara part of the proceeds from the sale, but she turned it down. Barbara, however, denied this claim and went on to say that she's not inclined to take money from Oprah. "It's not money, it's never been about money," she added. "If it had been about money, I would have taken it and run a long time ago." Speaking with the Daily Mail, she claimed that Oprah always had the intention to mess up her life, saying that Oprah is evil for asking her to move out from the home she once shared with Vernon. "That woman has set out to ruin me, destroy me. To take this house away is petty. This has been my home for 14 years. Oprah is a billionaire 3 times over. Her help live better than this," she declared. Now, Oprah owns property all over the world, so there is no reason to sell that house other than to spite me. It's a personal vendetta, she said. Now, Oprah herself has never addressed these claims and has stayed silent on the matter, so we really don't know her true feelings, but I'm sure she's not too happy with Barbara. Now, Oprah has had quite a weight loss journey and has made the whole world aware of it, but she hasn't always been honest with it. At the beginning of her career, a lot of people were critical of her weight, which honestly wasn't fair and was just straight up mean. Now, this year, Oprah recalled feeling shamed by Joan Rivers on national television in the early days of her career. Oprah looked back at her very first appearance on The Tonight Show in 1985, where Joan Rivers hosted the talk show at the time, and Oprah recalled the late comedian making hurtful comments about her size. Joan Rivers turns to me and says, "Tell me why you are so fat," on national television, and I didn't know what to think, Oprah said. In response to the rude comments, Oprah recalled saying, "Oh, I just love potato chips, Joan," to which the host replied, "No, seriously, shame on you." Oprah then said that she agreed with Joan, who apparently told her, "I'll let you come back if you lose 15 pounds. You need to lose 15 pounds. She said that to me on national television, and I accept it. I accept that I should be shamed because how dare me to be sitting up here on The Tonight Show," Oprah said, adding that she and Joan agreed that she was going to go away and lose 15 pounds. And years later, Oprah did just that. In 1988, she revealed her new weight loss on her show by taking off an oversized coat and wheeling out a wagon holding 67 pounds of animal fat, the amount she had lost in less than 5 months. Now, people were absolutely shocked by her transformation, as this episode earned the highest ratings in the show's history. However, years later, Oprah expressed regret about it, stating that it was simply an ego trip and admitting that she eventually regained all the weight. Now, it's unfortunate that she felt so pressured to do this, but then returned to her old weight. She then worked on a program called Weight Watchers and was the face of the brand. Now, she claimed it would help her lose weight and she promoted it to millions. The program was a staple in a lot of households because if it worked for Oprah, then of course it would work for you. Now, in recent times, Oprah has lost a lot of weight and has a slim figure. Now, everyone just assumed it was due to Weight Watchers or exercise or some secret weight loss program, but it wasn't. It was due to a weight loss medication. Now, throughout 2023 to now, a lot of celebrities have been taking the weight loss drug Ozempic to lose weight. Now, it's actually shocking how many celebrities are on it now, and it turns out that Oprah is just another one. At the beginning of 2024, Oprah opened up in an Oprah special, Shame, Blame, and the Weight Loss Revolution, about what it has been like to have her own weight ups and downs documented publicly over the past several decades. Now, at the end of December 2023, she confirmed that she used a medication to help her maintain her weight after losing weight steadily over the past 2 years with a combination of diet and exercise. "I now use it as I feel I need it as a tool to manage not yo-yoing," Oprah told People magazine. "The fact that there's medically approved prescriptions for managing weight and staying healthier in my lifetime feels like a relief, like redemption, like a gift, and not something to hide behind and once again be ridiculed for." She continued by saying, "I'm absolutely done with shaming from other people, and particularly myself." Now, Oprah has not named the type of medication she's on, but I think it's safe to say that it's most likely Ozempic. Now, a lot of people were angry at this because they felt that they had been lied to and that Oprah cheated. Then the next blow came later in 2024 as Oprah decided to step away from Weight Watchers forever. Now, this made some fans even more upset and they felt like Oprah was abandoning them. Now, it seems like Oprah just collected their money and lied to everyone for her own benefit, which obviously hurt people's feelings.
In the wake of Pitch Perfect 2's groundbreaking release weekend, Rebel Wilson was caught in one of these very old-fashioned age scandals. According to one of Wilson's high school classmates speaking anonymously to an Australian tabloid, Wilson had been lying about her age, her name, her upbringing, and her family's class. Those claims were amplified across the Australian and international press and social media, which began a tirade to know the real Rebel Wilson. On May 18, 2015, Wilson addressed the rumors via Twitter, joking, "Oh my god, I'm actually an 100-year-old mermaid, formerly known as CC Chalice. Thanks, shady Australian press, for your tall poppy syndrome." In the aftermath, investigations into business and voting records did show that Wilson's legal name is actually Melanie Elizabeth Bounds. She's not 29 as previously claimed on her IMDb page, but actually 35, born March 2nd of 1980. Rebel's fans maintained her lives weren't actually that abnormal or horrendous, with one Reddit user even pointing out that being 30 in Pitch Perfect isn't that strange, seeing as, quote, Anna Camp, Esther Dean, Adam Devine, etc. aren't that far behind her and were also playing college students as well. Ironically, Ben Platt was the only cast member who was 18 playing a 19-year-old. While some celebs are outed by former classmates, some like Constance Wu are outed by, well, their fans just not believing what they say about their age. Because when Fresh Off the Boat first came out and it gave Wu her big break, she pretended to be in her early 20s and even did interviews all like, "LOL, I'm playing a mom of teens and yet I'm so young," but her own beloved fans didn't buy it, especially upon the release of the movie Hustlers. It sparked rumors and theories online that she was faking her age. In February 2015 interview with Glamour, trying to prompt an age answer from the actress, Wu was asked about what her on-screen husband, Randall Park, who was 40, was like compared to her alleged 26. Constant Wu's response was to brazenly joke that he was immature while she was mature, and it made them feel like they were the same age. When the interviewer pressed further, suggesting Constance wasn't actually old enough to have birthed her on-screen kids, the actress countered that biologically she was. In an interview the following year, 2016, Vulture set things right. In it, Wu is asked whether she's actually 26 like she had been claiming, or as the media had been reporting, was she 34. Wu claimed she was 34 and explained not correcting anyone previously by saying, I think originally on Wikipedia it listed my age incorrectly. There's a lot of ageism in the industry, so when people would talk about it, I just wouldn't correct them. While these two leading ladies lied downwards, some lie upwards about their age, like a young Lawrence Fishburne. He is the OG of lying about your age to nab a role actor. Lawrence was only 14 when he cold-faced lied to Francis Ford Coppola himself about being 16 to play the 17-year-old character Tyrone Clean Miller in the legendary 1976 film Apocalypse Now. Fishburne explained in 2013 interview he was not fooling producer Fred Roos, though who he says knew him from a different project he had done when he was younger. So needless to say, the casting team wasn't entirely sure if he looked as old as he claimed to be, so they needed an extra set of eyes. To quote Fishburne, a young woman who was working in the offices, a secretary, got up and walked through the room, he said. And as she was walking, Francis finally spoke up, and he just looked at her and said, excuse me, you think this kid could be 18? And whoever this woman was, she turned around, looked at me and went, yeah. With the validation of an unaffiliated third party, Fishburne got the part, and although he was 14 when shooting began, he was 18 years old by the time the movie was released in theaters. However, his true age of 14 was actually confirmed to the entirety of cast during the filming of a specific scene where he had to talk about his love of Playboy magazines, and he fumbled through it. Caught aging himself down as the man who'd normally never fumble, that's Eminem. And there's quite a few age slip-ups from this rapper. Once on Howard Stern's radio show in 1999, Eminem claimed to be 24. However, he was actually 27. On some tracks from TES and MMLP, he says his age, but it's always 2 years less than what it actually is. That, and in TES, a Square One Stance lyric dropped is, I'm 28, they gonna take you for they take me. Also, there's a video of Eminem celebrating his birthday on stage in 2002, and it says, happy 26th birthday. So a lot of confusion, but why did Eminem lie? Same reason as many celebrities, it's competition. There were a lot of young men in hip-hop when Eminem was pushing himself out there, and the internet was just getting big, so it's not like anyone was gonna fact check him, at least for not a long time. So Eminem often subtracted 2 to 4 years from his stage age, which he later admitted in an interview after it was found out because his mother released his birth certificate as part of that period of time where she was harassing him like crazy. So Jerry Halliwell lied due to competitive reasons as well, as she was part of the girl group the Spice Girls during an era of utter girl group competition. Jerry was known as Ginger Spice and told the press she was 21 to match herself up with the ages of her bandmates and not throw off the public perception of, women being perceived as old in the industry earlier than anyone else. However, it was her own homegirl who did her in. A fellow band member, Victoria, aka Posh Spice, let slip an interview. Halliwell is older than 21, but never specified how much older, which sent the internet into a frenzy of speculation and gossip. Add fuel to the fire, Melanie Brown has also claimed since Halliwell has lied about her age for decades and said no one knows how old she is. She even revealed her friend always kept her passport close to her chest when they were on tour as the Spice Girls. Scary Spice admitted she doesn't believe Ginger Spice was born in 1972, despite even celebrating her 50th birthday with her celebrity friend. Speaking of pop queens lying about their age, one for my Irish viewers, Nadine Cole. So, the Girls Aloud band member was on a show called Pop Stars, where she lied about her age in order to compete in the talent show. In a hilarious clip, it was revealed that Nadine had been lying about her age and was just 16, which is 2 years younger than the minimum age requirement of 18 for that Irish show. So the clip shows her panicking on camera when confronted about her age. She starts digging through her purse for a birth certificate or a passport she knows she won't find. She starts awkwardly calling her mom, asking where her passport is. It's a bit of social media history in Ireland apparently, and highly memed in reference there as well. Nadine Cole was disqualified from the competition and sent back home to Derry, but Lewis Walsh later encouraged her to enter the UK version of the show, Pop Stars The Rivals, the following year, and she actually has since had a career. Nicola Colin, actually accredited the iconic clip to how she learned how to do her Derry Girls accent while in an interview with Graham Norton. To quote Sandra Bullock, "After a while, you have no idea how old you are because you've lied so many times." She said that back in an interview with Detour in 1993, but before that interview and after, the actress has lied about her age almost endlessly. Old or younger really doesn't matter to Sandy, who uses lying about her age and keeping its true number a secret as a tactic to land roles that she feels she truly desires. So Bullock confessed in 1992 that she lied about her age to get cast in The Love Potion No. 9. The part of the biologist Diane Farrow called for a 29-year-old actress, but she was actually younger at the time. The multi-award winning actor was told by Barbara Walters that it would be wise to tell a white lie, so she convinced everyone she was 29 to get the role. Laverne Cox opened up about her struggle with aging in a similar fashion. The actress has formally claimed to be born in 1982, when it was actually 1972. Now reminder, Laverne did start off in the drag world, where it's actually really normal for performers to shave off like 10 years or more, but she carried on lying about her age after having a man break up with her when she was 28 for being too old. Worried about castability and desirability, Laverne lied about her age as she made her big break in Orange is the New Black, a show that would accidentally help reveal her true age. See, Laverne's twin brother plays her character pre-gender transition in the show, and when fans went to Google if that fact was true, yo, that's so cool, they find his IMDb, which has his real age listed. And seeing as Laverne and her brother are fraternal twins, the fact that her age was listed 10 years after his on IMDb didn't make much sense. So then on the Ellen show, she's called out and she says, IMDb found out my real age, so it started appearing places, and it was freaking me out. I was having such anxiety, so I started talking to my therapist about it. I started unpacking all the stories I had about being older, and the stories were all like I wasn't hireable, I wasn't dateable, I wasn't effable, and then I just worked through all that. On a somewhat funnier note, Chris Brown's age was revealed when he was trying to win love from the astrology girlies, so he posted his full astro circle chart to his Instagram story. Brown, however, is only smart enough to remove his birth date from his birth chart, meaning one eagle-eye Instagram user who studied astrology called him out in the comments, writing, "If this chart is true, hey Chris Brown, you're 4 years older than what you actually claim." Turns out his Saturn was in the late degree of Scorpio, and his Pluto was in an early degree of Scorpion. Add that together, and his stars were in Liar Liar Pants on Fire. So Chris Brown's birthday was revealed to be May 1985, not 89, and as a result, he blocked the first astrologer to call him out in the comments and then deleted all of his star charts and refuses to address this. Mariah Carey, for her part, told Complex in 2016 she just doesn't even believe in having a birthday. Mariah Carey's true birth year has long been debated in the press and social media, with evidence supporting both 1969 and 1970 as the correct answer. With that little difference, it really doesn't matter, and it seems Mariah shares my opinion, as she herself is quoted to have said she really just wants to remain eternally oblivious to age. To quote her, "I was just dropped here. It was a fairyland experience," she said in 2016. 3 years later, the singer maintained that she doesn't believe in aging, saying to an interview, "I don't get this 10-year challenge. Time is not something I acknowledge." She also captioned 2 similar photos of herself in January 2019 after a social media transformation went viral, picture taken at some point prior to today.